welcome back to Timeless Flux. It's been quite some time since I've recorded any of these readings, and it's been a restructuring process for me to kind of try to understand the use of this channel and exactly the kind of message I wanted to convey here, and kind of get in touch again with the basis, the philosophy of why I do these readings, and get back to my connection with spirit. It was a long process. It took me more than a year to finally complete it. And today what we have here is a very simple and also very open a gateway opportunity for your spirits to talk to you and tell you exactly what you need to hear right now, because I thought it was symbolic and it was a good way to start recording these videos again. So the question we are addressing today is, what exactly do you need to hear right now? I'm also implementing a change in the sense that we have 3 choices on piles here today, and I'm following the same method I normally do follow during my private sessions, one-on-one sessions, which includes talking about how you're being represented by the tarot at this very specific moment, and then a past, a present, and a future, kind of a timeline that shows how you got into this moment, and perspectives you have if you keep on doing the same thing you've been doing for the last couple of months. And then we have some cards for what you know and what you don't know about this situation, what helps and what hinders in this process, what the situation can be summed up to, and what it does not, what it is not, because sometimes we can be focusing on a certain aspect, or we may have kind of a tinted perspective on what the situation is. Then we have a piece of advice and a conclusion card. This is normally what I do, the kind of spread I do when I'm dealing with people one-on-one, which is something I do. I've been doing. I haven't stopped doing this, even if the channel has stopped. And I've decided that it would be very good and something that would bring me grounding and kind of an assuredness of what I do here if I brought it to you in this order, in this presentation, using the spread. So this is something that I'll start doing from this video on. Today we have 3 options to answer what you need to know right now, and they are represented by these stones. Option number 1 is represented by this beautiful sunstone. Hope you can see it properly. It has a really nice shine to it. And option number 2 is represented by this stone. I really do not know. I think it's some kind of jasper. If you know, please leave it, comment down below in the comment section, because I would love to know. This is a new stone for me. And then option number 3 is represented by this opalite that I've been working with in relationship issues, strengthening relationship, and it's been producing some incredible results. It's also milky in a way. I hope you can see it. Still have a lot of Sunday of daylight filtering through my window panes here. I'm in front of a window, so I don't know if you can see it properly. Okay, so option number 1, option number 2, and option number 3. What exactly do you need to know right now? If you feel free to pause the video if you need some more time to select your option. But well, let's move on to the reading for pile number 1. Okay, so hello, pile number 1. If you've selected this option represented by this gorgeous sunstone that is really shiny, then this is your reading for what exactly do you need to hear right now. And as I was shuffling for the cards, this is a stone I haven't used in quite some time, and it normally gives me the vibe of a need for self-encouragement, and also to go deep within and try to understand where maybe you're missing on and not courage exactly, but where you're missing on self-reliance, and maybe where you're doubting your judgment and the reasons for that. Because I feel that whenever I get in contact with this stone, whenever there's a sign associated with it, or when I'm working with it, the feeling I get the most is that it's not that everyday life is easy peasy, but it's just that it could become so much easier. It could go and so much better if we only got the trust in ourselves to face whatever challenges we're facing at this very specific moment. So I feel like there's kind of we were talking about tinted views of reality, maybe biased views of reality in the introduction, and I feel like at this very moment there's something that's related to the way you see the world, and more specifically the way you see yourself, that may be making situations harder to face than they needed to be. And I'm not trying in any way, shape, or form to like say that whatever you're experiencing is not difficult, it's not hard in itself. I'm just saying that maybe there's something that needs to be addressed in terms of the way you judge yourself, the way you understand your positioning in the world, your place in this world, that could be reviewed so that you could face these challenges in a calmer, more grounded way. Okay, so I'm going to leave this stone here right next to our protective crystals, and I'm gonna start. I have explained this spread in the beginning of the video. If maybe you will want to check it as we move along, but I have, and I hope you can see it, I have the 10 of Wands representing you, and then I have the 9 of Swords for the past, I have the World for the present, and I have Death for the future. Okay, so this connects quite well to what I was talking about. What I see here is that right now you're really, really exhausted, okay? So tens normally represent the end of a cycle, and it's kind of like the end of a cycle, but we do not necessarily know that it is the end. We're so tired that even if our intuition is screaming at us, okay, that's just this, you're so close, don't worry, it's all going to end up soon and it's going to be wonderful. But we're so damn tired that it's very hard to believe that it's ever going to end. The feeling is that it's never going to end. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. So I see that you're very, very tired, and this is the end of a cycle. So we could be talking about this very long hour based stressful job. We could be talking about the end of a relationship. We could be talking about the end of a way of understanding your life. You know, this kind of period is normally associated with ego death, and I have the death card here in the future talking about that. I'll get to that in a minute. But the idea is that there's so much effort involved in simply waking up and living your everyday life that something needs to change, something needs to end. It doesn't matter if it's this job or this relationship or this difficult separation. Maybe it's a combo, but it doesn't matter really if it's something external or if it's you that's going to change the way you react to everything that's going on. But something needs to change, and you know that because you're so tired, you're so exhausted at this point, that if something doesn't radically change, and in the sense of getting closure, you won't be able to just you won't be able to keep up doing whatever you're doing. This is I'm sorry for that. First and foremost, I'm sorry for that. I know how hard this kind of moment can be in one's life. There's a story here, like giving me some hints on how you got to this place, to this card being here representative of you. And the story goes, it all started in a period represented here by this Nine of Swords, in a period of time in which it's kind of like your fears got the best of you, your anxiety, whatever you deemed to be the worst that could happen to you, got the best of you. And of course, when we're talking about this level of stress here and this level of exhaustion, we're probably talking about triggers. Something triggered you. We are probably talking about a situation in the recent past, maybe not so recent, because I don't know how long you've stayed in a situation, how long you experienced this level of exhaustion, but it's something at least medium range. It's like it's not short term exactly, but it doesn't have to be a year, a whole year. It's a month situation, okay? Like 3 months up to 6 months that you've been facing this challenge, but now it's coming to a point in which you're really, is it ever going to end? Something needs to change, okay? Something's got to give. And I see that it started because at a certain point something triggered your worst fears, your worst nightmares when it comes to how your future could unfold. Okay, so I see that whatever you're dealing with right now started as a promising situation, maybe not promising, but as something between an ordinary situation, something that you thought you could deal with, to a promising situation, something that you actually thought could be really good, really solid gold. And then at a certain point we have the 9 and we have the 10. So I'm guessing that whatever whatever triggered you not so long ago. This is a the process of getting so tired is a long process, okay? This is something they want you to pay attention to. I mean, your guides want you to pay attention to. But the worst of it was triggered. Whatever triggered you happened like 1 to up to 3 months ago, not so long ago. And then you started getting anxious and anxious and anxious about whatever could go wrong in this situation. So to start with, this situation could be something that you dreamed about, or at least something that sounded, part of everyday life, something that you could deal with, and then something triggered you. You might have faced insomnia, you might have faced alterations in your daily routine, the way you eat, the way you in your patterns, okay, your physical patterns, your habits, etc. And then now it's coming to a point in which you're almost there. I have the world here. Like this is like the best card in tarot, one of the best cards in tarot. But I have the world here. So you're coming to a point right now in which almost everything is solved. Almost everything is going in your favor, but you simply, due to anxiety and due to whatever triggered you, cannot experience whatever is going on around you objectively. You're just so tired. Okay, so the situations coming to my mind are like, if you're getting a divorce, you know that this was a long way coming, and you can even feel the relief of getting divorced because this relationship was not working that well anymore. But it's just that you're scared, something, there's something very triggering, and relationship, I mean, separations are very difficult. So it scares you and it triggers you in ways that do not allow you to experiment whatever freedom you're finally getting. But this could also be talking about, this is another scenario that's coming to my mind. You get the job that you always wanted, and then everything's okay and you're happy, but at a certain point something triggers you. And because we were talking with this tone about trusting yourself and about understanding how maybe you diminish your value, and how to be more confident in what you know, then maybe this is the job of your dreams, but you get triggered by something on whether you are good enough to do it. So now you actually have the job of your dreams, and it's almost finishing, it's almost there, you're almost done, but you simply cannot experiment it as something pleasurable anymore. You simply cannot see this as a win, as a victory. Okay. And what I see moving on to the future is that if you keep on going, this is going to produce enormous, massive change in the way you understand victory, success. You're going to reconceptualize all of those things, quite frankly, whether you want it or not. So this whole experience is happening not to you, but for you, in the sense that you're facing some of your major demons related to something that sounded so good, sounded so proper, or at least something that sounded harmless, part of your experience, something that sounded, necessary. You're facing all of these demons, and it's very hard to cross this finish line here, whatever it is, up to to the point that you're thinking, is it ever going to end? But it is going to end. It is necessary. You just have to stick through it a little bit more, because this is going to mean transformation in your life, in the likes of, that you've probably never seen before. This is a before and after moment in your life. And it is a before and after moment because it's going to completely transform the way you understand success, you understand what it means to be happy and fulfilled. It's going to change completely the way you understand fulfillment. This is a card that talks about fulfillment. And the basic situation I have here is, it's a question of how is it that when I reach a situation that was supposed to bring me fulfillment, I feel so exhausted and unhappy. Okay, not even unhappy, but mostly exhausted and unable to deal with this situation. Okay, so this is going to lead to questioning a lot of things, a lot of concepts, and mainly the way you see yourself, the way you believe in yourself, and the way you understand your own abilities in dealing with certain situations. Okay, your capabilities. Okay, so this is the basic scenario I have going on for you. Now I have some more cards here that talk about what you know, and then I have the Seven of Cups, what you don't know about this situation. What helps, which is what you know is the Seven of Cups. What you don't know is Temperance. What helps is the Emperor in reverse, and what hinders is the Three of Swords. Okay, so again, what you know about the situation is that you have more options than you think you do. Okay, so maybe because this is, whatever it is getting so much of your energy, then sometimes you kind of forget that there are a lot of different ways to address this situation. It doesn't have to be that radical. It doesn't have to be the way you've been doing, the way you've been facing this situation in your everyday routine. There, you can be creative. You can get creative while addressing it. You can rest a little bit more. You can ask for the help of your friends, and you can even leave it, of course. But what I see here is that you already know that there are many different ways to go about the situation, but what you don't know is that in order to access these ways and to have enough energy to really come up with the best, the most creative solutions, to move across this difficult path, this difficult patch in your journey, you need to be balanced. Okay, so what I see here is you're so tired that even if your logical brain knows that you didn't, it's not necessary to suffer that much. Okay, this is a terrible way of putting it, I'm sorry, but it's kind of like, it's almost like I'm hearing you talk to yourself. You're so tired that you keep on doing things the same way day after day and hoping for it to end. But it's kind of contradictory, because it is not exactly a bad situation. It's just a situation that leaves you exhausted. So there is a part of your logical brain that keeps on saying, maybe if you could relax for a couple of seconds, you would see better, more creative ways of dealing with that. And then I'm going to give an example that's not necessarily what you're facing, but coming back to the idea that you're given the job of your dreams, and then you're very happy, but something triggers you and you start questioning yourself if you're good enough to actually finish this job. Okay, so you become very tired because as you move along, you're carrying the weight not only of doing whatever you need to do, but also of trying to fight these voices that tell you that you're not good enough. And then suddenly the best job of all, the dream job, becomes the nightmare. Okay, this is what we were explaining in the timeline that was presented before. There is a part of your logical brain in this situation, or whatever situation you're facing, make it fit your scenario, that understands that if you could simply leave these voices behind, not listen to these voices that talk about how unfit you are for the job, you would just sail smoothly, and you would actually be able to enjoy the gift that you've been given by the universe of having this dream job. And I want to also talk about a scenario that could be considered not as positive, just like the scenario of a separation that also applies here. There is a part of you that knows this separation needed to go on. I mean, needed to come through, but and feels relief. But there are all those voices telling you that you were not enough, that you needed to stick to it a little longer, and you needed to make more effort in order to make this relationship work. And there is a part of you that knows there's a different understanding for that you have other options. This is what the Seven of Cups is talking about here. There are other perspectives. But what you don't know, and it's very hard to know because you're very tired right now, is that you need to be balanced in order to actually implement those perspectives, whatever they are, in whatever situation you're facing right now. Okay? So these cards are actually connected. What we have here is like almost a call to action, saying, okay, no matter how hard the situation feels to you right now, no matter how little time you think you have to be thinking about meditation and spiritual practices and balancing your act, this is exactly what you should be doing, because any creative solutions and ways of facing the situation that feel more grounded, more interesting, more balanced, they are only going to come if you take this time to, like, it's not like you're going to become a mystic or a monk if you're not already one of those things, but you need to, like, balance your act to a minimum so that the creative solutions and different perspectives can breathe some fresh air and start entering again in your life. Otherwise, if you're just stuck to whatever has triggered you into considering this situation as a completely helpless situation that's never going to end, you will keep on, like, using the notion that you have other options just as an added form of torture. This is plainly what they're saying, okay? And also, something that helps a lot in this situation is not trying to control whatever's going on with this emperor in reverse here, okay? So we were talking about ego death, and we had the death card in the first four cards. So with this emperor in reverse here, what I see is that what makes the situation even harder is that we are talking about the collapsing of basic concepts of the way you structure yourself in the world. So whatever is going on right now is getting to the core of who you think you are and who you have always thought you needed to be in order to be successful in this world. This is kind of collapsing. So with that, as I've said before, the idea, the notion of what success is and what it isn't, and what failure is, this is all changing, and it's a lot. And this is also a part of why you're tired. It gets better. It will get better if you simply do not try to fight it. And not trying to fight it in a very practical sense is understanding that your plans right now are not going to function the way you are, better saying, the old version of you, the ego that's dying, thinks they should. So on an everyday basis, it's like, it's not a good idea right now to have long-term plans and try to make them, to secure them, to try to guarantee that they're going to function the way you think they should function, because this is not going to happen. I heard a sentence while I was channeling the other day that said, Sabini, nothing is going to work the way you think it should work at this very specific time in your life. And it's exactly what I'm seeing for you. I know that's very hard to hear, and I know that it's very humbling. It is about a humbling experience. This game here, this spread is about a humbling experience first and foremost. So what they're saying is that it helps when you're not trying to control, because whatever you do in terms of control right now, it's going to come from the old version of you that's actually dying. So it's not going to be the best pieces of advice. It's not going to help you, and it's going to make you a little or a lot confused, okay? And what shows up here as hindering this process is the Three of Swords, which is pain. As you can see represented here is the classical card for pain, for hurt, for past hurt and pain that has not been dealt with properly. So there's a connection here suggesting that every time you want to control something, or you want to put your emperor act to face the world, it's just because you're feeling so unsafe and so insecure that you're not actually looking at whatever is going around you, is going on around you, and you're not focusing on understanding and collaborating with the universe and with the people around you, but you're more focused on protecting yourself. So you become really defensive. And they're explaining that this comes from something, some kind of wound that has not been dealt with from your past, probably related to whatever triggered you in the beginning of this process, as we were saying before, and that turned this situation into something almost unbearable. Okay. So it's in a position that it hinders. They're not actually suggesting that you keep on looking and keep on digging to see what's the original pain, because it's like they're saying, just let it die for the moment. And I'm not saying that therapy is not okay, that digging into your pain is pointless. I would never say anything like that. I'm just saying that at this very specific moment, when you're so tired and when there's so much going on, in practical terms, and when you feel like it's very hard to cope, maybe the best strategy is not to keep on valuing the pain from the past and valuing the trigger, but just to surrender and let go of any kind of control you think you should have on this situation, understanding that you're protected by higher forces, that this is going on because you needed to go through these things, and trying to find whatever balance you can. Okay. So we also have here a card for what this situation really is, and a card for what it's not, just as some more confirmation, a piece of advice, and the conclusion. Okay. And then this is like what the clarification we needed to just wrap up this spread. In the place of what this situation really is, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles talks about honing your skills, basically working hard, but not hard in the sense of long hours, but working through whatever needs to be enhanced, reshaped, or learned. It's not a beginner's card. It's the card of someone who already knows a lot about what they're doing, but realizes that there's some things that need tweaks and needs enhancing, really needs to be honed, skills that needs to be honed. So these cards tell me that whatever you're doing right now, it doesn't even have to be related to a profession or to your professional study life in general. Whatever you're doing right now is showing you, and it's actually leading you to practice skills that are going to be very useful in the future, and that you needed to hone in order to become this next version of yourself. The classic example would be, so your dream job came along and you're not feeling good. And you're not feeling good because you realize that there's some very concrete aspects in terms of skills, of practical knowledge, of literacy in general that you need in order to be able to do this job. It doesn't mean that you're not enough. It doesn't mean that you're not a good professional. It just means that, just like this witch here, you need to grab whatever skills you actually do have, and books and expertise, and you need to, add another level to it. You need to work with it through higher challenges in order to become the person who can actually deal with your dream job. And this is all very foreseeable. This is something that every professional can expect. So, for example, I'm fluent in English, but whenever I'm recording these pick cards, part of my English vanishes, because it's a new situation for me to be here trying to convey these messages in English, since normally when I'm in consultation with people, I'm speaking Portuguese, which is my native language, and then trying to hone the skills in another language, because I've decided to do this channel like that. It's a common part of it. It's a foreseeable. It's like, it's something we can predict, but this could trigger a part of myself that thinks I'm not enough, or maybe this is not a normal part of a process, or maybe I'm not fluent, or maybe, but you know how the drill goes. And this is something that every professional and everyone in any practice has to go through, even if we're not talking here about a situation that is related to a profession, to an occupation. This could also happen when we're talking about relationships. So you're finally meeting someone who is adjusted or in alignment with your needs. It's someone that can really care for you and you can care for them, and there's an equal exchange of give and take. And then you realize, you start seeing everything that went wrong in past relationships, and you start understanding your contribution to these mismatches, to these previous mismatches, and getting scared, because it's like, well, again, the trigger, am I not good enough? So will I be able to, step up my game, like this card suggests? Yes, you will be able. And this is what this situation is talking about. You're becoming a different version of yourself. But in order to become this different version, you need to let go of whatever is no longer functioning. And this letting go is not only about learning new practical skills, but also about getting used to the kind of person you need to be, in terms of feelings, in terms of attitudes, in terms of emotional states in general, in terms of even spiritual uploads and upgrades that you need to go through, so that you can live this new life, so to speak. So this is all very, very positive, but the way you're experiencing it right now, and understandably so, is kind of frustrating. Okay, take it as kind of the best training you could have in a real life situation. You're tired because you're learning so much, because you're being tested so much. You feel tested. You're not being tested, really. You're just going through this major upgrade, but it takes a toll on you, and it uncovers past hurt that hasn't been dealt with properly, and it is a part of the process of becoming a better version of you. This is what this situation is about. It's not only a generic better version of you. It's something that's actually necessary for you to become that next level professional, or that next level lover or family member, or whatever you're dealing with. This is not, and this I have the Nine of Cups in reverse here. I'm going to show it to you upright. But this is not about just you lost everything that you've worked to get. Okay, this is not about you giving lots of steps back and failing. Okay, progress is not something that's linear. Okay, and we have most of us has been raised to believe that progress is linear. So if there's a hiccup in a process, and if I'm feeling so tired with something that should be easy at this point in the game, the way we conceptualize it, then maybe I'm getting older, or maybe I'm losing my touch, or maybe this is not what's happening. What's happening is a totally normal, natural part of the process, in which you are actually getting better at what you do. But the cost of that is letting go of some very basic beliefs on what success is, or what it should look like. And the fact that a lot of people also believe that if you're getting more successful, then it shouldn't be that hard. It could also come to your mind from time to time. And it's not true. Okay, it's most of the times get harder, in the sense of more challenging, but it doesn't have to include suffering. Suffering can be optional in most of the cases. The card that wraps up the game is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So it gives us a hint on why is it so hard for you, and the kind of a skill that you're developing. It suggests that you have that it is hard for you to establish partnerships, productive partnerships with other people. And I want to make a note on that. we have just left a period of the pandemics period, and people are opening up again to relationships and to deeper levels of collaboration. A lot of people are starting to work again in groups and in real life, not only through the internet. And this is taking a toll on all of us because we got used, most of us got used to not seeing each other and to having contact with each other only online, right? So it reminds me a lot of that. Like a lot of us are in need to hone our skills when it comes to dealing with this. Once again, we are here establishing partnerships that are more intimate, that are up close and personal, that are in real life and not only through the internet. And we got to a comfort zone at a certain point, no matter how hard it was, of being isolated in our homes, etc. And now this is no longer the rule. So you can apply it to your specific situation because we are talking about a specific situation here, but I could not, well, I could not say, I don't know how to say that, but it was important for me to say that it's also connected to the whole world situation right now of opening up after a pandemic period. Okay, but what I see here, that's the most important piece of advice I have here, or message or hint, is that with the situation that you're facing, you're learning how to trust people again, collaborate with people again, and it's triggering a lot of stuff. Okay, so think about that, meditate on that. Mainly, I could mainly say that people are not the enemy in this case, and that opening up to new possibilities of partnerships, whether it be in love or in a professional area, or just as talking more to your friends, etc. This is going to be really positive at this stage. The piece of advice we have is very conducive to this interpretation, because it's the Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay, the Seven of Swords talks about betrayal, etc. So it's practically asking you not to be so defensive and to give people a chance to help you, to listen to you. Give yourself more chance of being vulnerable. Give yourself more chances of telling other people your truth, of collaborating with other people, of being around other people, because this is going to be important as a skill as we move forward. This is what they're saying, and this situation is giving you, if you like analyze the challenges that you've been facing, this situation is giving you the opportunity of being in touch with a lot of people and facing your demons when it comes to collaboration with other people. Maybe because if it's the separation scenario, now you're looking for other people to talk to. You had this person to talk to every day, and now you don't have any more. So you're opening more, you're opening again to friends, etc. Maybe because in your work, this dream job is so difficult that now you have to ask for help of other people, or you feel isolated and you feel the need for other people, but you're afraid of asking for help. In general, as a piece of advice, this spread is saying, go for it, ask for help, talk to people, go for walks. If you're afraid of talking to people who would know you, and you think could judge you, then talk to people on the street. Go looking for the council of experts. Get out of your isolation. This is the message here. Now I want to get some oracle cards just to see if we have some extra messages for you that could help you in this process. But I just want to say that this is a very positive game, even if I understand that for you right now the situation is very complicated and it's very triggering. But it seems like one of those challenges and those moments is we just have to go through, because we're learning so much, and this is a part of the beautiful reality that you're building. We already have a card here. We have hope. And this card says love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. Yeah, so you see the triggers with the Nine of Swords in the beginning of the game. Whatever took you on this spiral of I'm not good enough, I won't be able to make it, etc., and turned a situation that could be just a regular situation or even a good situation into something tragic. It came from a belief that you were not enough, and now you can counteract by understanding that you can accept yourself. You can work in the acceptance of yourself and your self-love, which was also suggested by this stone here, the sunstone. Okay, so I'm going to leave them together. Let's see if we have anything else for you that wants to come up. I don't, maybe this one. This one is faith, humanity, and benevolence. Very interesting because we have, I'm going to read the card, but we have the two aspects I was mentioning. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, see the light in the world. Okay, so these cards are talking about the two aspects that were highlighted throughout your spread, which are when I trust in myself, then I can trust others, and this is a relationship that cannot be broken. If I don't trust myself, then I don't trust in others, and this is a period of expansion. This is a period of opening yourself up to whatever comes your way. Okay, so it is important for you now to leave your isolation, to lose the grip on the defensive attitude, okay, no matter how hard it is, because this is going to make you learn so much, basically. Let's see if I'm feeling called to get a self-care oracle card for you, just in the sense of maybe there's some practical exercise that you can do in order to connect with the energy of self-love and acceptance and the acceptance of others. So let's see what comes here. Okay, I see creative expression, but let's see. Oh, yeah, and then it's here again. Create art, creative expression. And the number is 17. 17, this is the star card. This is hope. So express your fears. Express whatever triggers you in art. This is going to be very productive for you right now. Instead of using your fears to judge your situation, let go and let God when it comes to the situation. Try to open yourself to other people and to yourself and to your own value. Try not to judge yourself so harshly and see all of what's happening as failure, and try to deal with heavier feelings, expressing yourself through art. This could be drawing, this could be singing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just expressing whatever you're feeling, validating your feelings, because this feelings, which is the hurt that was expressed by the Three of Swords, these feelings are there for a reason. They're telling you, okay, you need to deal with this stuff right now, because otherwise you won't be able to upgrade into the version of you that's trying to come along. And in order to upgrade, you need to face these feelings. So instead of indulging so much that you feel terrible and you use these feelings to decide on your next steps, why not try to express these feelings through art, taking them for what they are. They are expressions of unfinished business. But do not let these feelings take a hold of your body and take a toll on you, take the best out of you. You know, the expressing them through art may be a wonderful way of keeping your calm and facing the situation, and remembering that this is a test. I mean, this is not a test. I keep repeating test because I think that maybe you are feeling tested by the universe. I don't know. This is not a test. This is just plainly a lesson. This is something you need to go through. Just simply to learn how to, as I see here, how to deal with other people in a more productive way, how to establish relationships and avoid isolation and trust yourself and trust others more. And this is the kind of challenge that we all have to face from time to time, including myself from time to time. We have to upgrade a level on this one. This is a particularly tough one in the world that we're living. So whenever you have conflicting feelings, instead of using them to judge your reality and to decide on important things and decide that you're really not enough, express them through art. This is going to make wonders to your everyday routine. So I hope this reading has helped, and if it did, or if it didn't, please leave a comment down below. I would love to know what you're actually dealing with, if it's more of a professional issue or if it's more of a relationship issue. How did it resonate or not with you? And please do not forget to share, to comment. I have already said comment, to leave a like. And also I would like to say that I have a Buy Me a Coffee link down below if you want to collaborate to the channel. And that's it, guys. I really hope that this situation teaches you whatever you need to learn and things start running smoothly as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here in my return to the channel. Bye-bye. Hello, group 2. So if you've chosen this beautiful stone here, I don't know the name of this stone. This is a new stone in my collection. So if you do know the name, please leave a comment in the comment section. This is going to be a reading on what exactly you need to hear right now. I have explained in the introduction that I'm going to use a spread for this reading, which includes a card representing yourself, past, present, and future, what you know, what you don't know, what helps, what hinders, what is the situation, what the situation is not, a piece of advice, and a conclusion. So it's a very complete reading on your situation, and it's a way to welcome back people who have been waiting for videos of this channel for like more than a year. So I'm very happy to read for you right now. Hope you enjoy your reading. Let me leave your stone right here. I'm also eager to see if you know the name of the stone. I think it's some kind of jasper, but let's start with your reading. Oh, let me put it this way for you. Yeah, I think it would be this way because it's in reverse. So we have the Chariot representing you. I hope you can see it properly like that, right? We have the Lovers also in reverse. It would be like this for you. I'm going to show you the cards. And we have the Ace of Wands also in reverse. It should be like this for you. Okay. So we start with this three cards. Oh, just one more. We have the Ace of Swords upright. Okay. So this is the card representing you in the situation, and then we have past, present, and future. The card which represents you is the Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is talking about a situation in which you feel kind of stuck. And it's the classic limbo situation, either because you feel nothing is really moving around you, you would like some divine interference, or maybe you feel like in spite of your best efforts, nothing seems to be as productive as you hope it would be. But it talks about, mainly since this is the card representing yourself, I would say that no matter how hard you're trying to solve your situation right now, and no matter how hard you try to move towards one direction or the other, none of them seems to feel as adequate or as in tune with your most intimate desires, because the chariot talks about, well, this is not a classical representation, but here we're talking about emotions and rationality, and it talks about bridging the gap between the heart and the mind, right? So basically when it's in reverse, it's talking about, and it's representing you, it's talking about an inability or an impediment to bridging the gap between what the heart feels and what the mind wants, or if you want, what the heart wants and what the mind wants. Okay, so it's talking about a state of internal division, which then produces kind of a stalemate. And it is an unpleasant situation. It is something that may cause anguish. It may cause a feeling of now for some people being left out in the cold, but most of all it is anxiety producing. Okay, so now I have a story here with this timeline, present, past, present, future, which is going to give me hopefully some hints as to how you ended up in this situation. And then for the past card, I have the Lovers in reverse. So the Lovers in reverse, in spite of what a lot of tarot readers say, to me, it's not talking about relationships only. It's mainly talking about decisions, which figures, because here in reverse, it's talking about the inability of making a very important decision, or maybe getting indecision or allowing indecision to get the best version of you, the best out of you, better saying. It's something like, of course, if you use your reasoning, it's always good to give yourself some time to make a decision, but there comes a point in which any decision, or almost any decision, is better than no decision at all. And I think this is kind of what happened in the past. I'm going to try to give an objective example of that. You don't know if you are going to get married on a Sunday, because then you would have on a given Sunday, I mean, because then you would have all of the family members of your bride or groom, whatever, your partner, present, or if you're going to get married on a given Wednesday, because then you would have most of your friends present. And it comes to a point, I know this is a very silly example, but it comes to a point in which the whole marriage is being questioned, because this decision, which is important, which is valid, because you want all of your loved ones to be present at your wedding ceremony, it comes to a point in which the whole wedding is being questioned, because, you know, things got a little bit out of perspective. And this is what I mean when I say it's an inability or an impossibility of bridging the gap between what the heart wants and what the mind wants. Decisions, or better saying, the indecision can go to such a level of detail that the whole point of why you had to make this choice starts becoming forget it. You start forgetting the point of it all, like in this wedding example. Okay, so I think in the past you ended up not making a decision because you were so caught up in details that, you know, something didn't move forward, and it reached the point in which it would have been better to have moved forward and not be perfect, because in the end nothing's perfect. Or it would have been better even to have come up with a decision that later on you would regret a little bit, like saying, oh, it would be better if we got married on Wednesday, because most of my family members couldn't come anyway on Sunday, you know, something like that. And then it would be better to just decide because in the end you didn't get married. It's something like this. Okay, of course I'm giving a silly example, but just for you to get a more practical look at what I'm trying to explain here, and make it fit your situation. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that now you're stuck in this limbo situation because in the past a decision, as it's showing up here, or maybe for some of you, some decisions, some crucial decisions, in the sense that not crucial because they needed to be overly dramatic or nothing like that, but decisions that would have made the action move forward. These decisions were not made. And now you come to a point in the present in which you are unable to listen to your intuition anymore, and you are unable to trust the hints and nudges and little voices in your head that are actually positive and are actually trying to move you forward, because you became so it became such a precious notion that you're going to come up with the perfect way out of this limbo. Okay, right now, as I was talking about that, I realized that well, I don't know if you watched pile number 1, and I'm not saying or even suggesting that you should, or maybe some of you did or watched the introduction of the video and you've noticed that there's been a gap between recording the first pile and this pile. Now it's nighttime. It was like you know, afternoon-ish, and I had all of my rings on, and I'm going to put them again. And I'm kind of drawn to say that this could be a sign of what I'm trying to explain here, in the sense that you kind of miss what's really important in the situation that's bringing you here, in this limbo situation. You miss the fun of having your rings on. You miss the fun of, you know, having whatever you like about doing this. I really like having my rings on. I really like having the scenario fully organized. I really like. I think it makes my hands more expressive. I don't know. I really I don't feel like justifying it to anyone. It's just something. I'm a Libra. I love it, and I forgot it. So I'm considering this a sign of the many things that you may have forgotten in this process of decision making, as you were trying to bridge emotions and rationality and got caught up in details, to the point that now the bigger picture got completely lost as to whatever you're doing right now in your life is supposed to bring you joy, is supposed to have an intrinsic meaning that is not related to it's not about putting the rings on to follow up on my example. It's not about putting the rings on. Not I can make this video without the rings. It's about the little things like putting rings on that can make my experience more pleasurable, and that do not cost a lot, because I already have the rings and they don't really cost a lot. And I have a custom made ring here, you know, made up with 2 pieces of clips, you know, and the stone that was a present. It's about these little details that do not have to be costful or take a lot of time, and make the journey so pleasurable, to the point in which we start thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to make the wrong decision, quote unquote, but this is going to be such a wonderful experience. I'm going to have so much fun that it really doesn't matter, because I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing this for anyone else. And of course, in a wedding situation, a wedding scenario I was talking about here, you have to negotiate this with other people, ideally, right? But when it comes to a point in which you're so caught up in details that you think there's like the perfect or the best or the only way of coming through in a situation like that, then it becomes too heavy. And what you're facing right now is a limbo state that is so honest to God heavy and stuck, that you don't trust your intuition anymore. This is where I find you, at least this is what the cards are talking about. And then in the future, if you continue on this path, what I see is that you're going to feel a need to simply cut through whatever you think is the ideal version of a decision, or the ideal version of any project you may have in mind, as I talk about that, as I convey this message, and simply start with the idea that sounds most fun or most inspired, as this card suggests, okay? Most heavenly guided or inspired. It doesn't even matter if it's the most practical one. Because what's happening right now for you is a lesson on not always what is the most practical way or attitude, and not even what tastes better, emotionally speaking, or what feels better is the best way. Sometimes we just need to follow our intuition and go for what's the most inspired action. This is what they're saying, like in the sense of a higher version of ourselves. I'm going to give an example, and I'm going to go back to the wedding scenario. Maybe the better decision would be to organize 2 wedding ceremonies, or organize even a 3rd date in which everybody could participate. Okay, this would be a feel-good option. And then the objective option would be, let's go for the date that's cheaper, or that is the date in which most people could come, and then the others would have to understand, etc. But sometimes there's this inspired 3rd option that doesn't make us feel exactly good about it, because it's kind of out of our comfort zone, and it's not exactly practical because it may involve a lot of work, but it's also beautiful. Like, let's make and this is a really out there example, but let's make an itinerant wedding. Okay, a wedding that is our car is going to the house of the people we like the most, and then we're going to get married in their houses in different ceremonies. I don't know, maybe a pandemic wedding could go like this, different mini ceremonies that occur in the different houses of the people we love. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, this you're stuck right now because you're trying to see a 3rd option, and this 3rd option is not an ideal option in terms of what your mind rationalizes and what your heart thinks is comfortable. It is an option based on inspiration and creativity. It is something new. It is something that may be considered out there, maybe not as out there as a wedding on the wheels, but it's something unique. And maybe you already know what it is if you're watching this file, and maybe you're stuck because you know that it's going to take some work, and it's going to maybe scare a little bit the people around you, and it's going to make you vulnerable, so you're a little bit scared of taking this 3rd option thing, so you're stuck because you're a little bit afraid. I don't know, but even if you don't know what it is, this is a lesson on cutting through indecision by taking inspired action, something that really moves you from a different level. It's not a level of what makes you feel good, and it's not a level of what sounds rational. Okay, it's a 3rd level. It's inspired. It comes from a different place, from your higher self, and it touches you in a different way. Okay, so now let's see what else we have here in terms of what you know and what you don't know about this situation. Hopefully we'll have more. Okay, we have the King of Wands, which talks about what you know. Interesting. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, what you don't know. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, for what, in reverse, for what helps. And we have the Seven of Pentacles upright, for what hinders. Interesting. Okay. So what I see here with this King of Wands is that no matter how stuck you are, no matter how stuck you're feeling right now, you know, deep down inside, that you can make whatever you want happen because you're a very good planner. And this level of indecision is not really your cup of tea. It's not really something normal. It's out of your comfort zone. Maybe you already know that you're stuck because you want something more than what you've been doing, than this process of bridging the gap between heart and mind. You want something truly inspired, as I was saying. But even if it's not that conscious, I see that deep down inside, you know that you're an organized person, that you're a capable person, and that you could get out of this situation as fast as you entered it. Maybe you're questioning why you don't then. But this card here, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, kind of gives us a hint. It seems like if you take this inspired action, this third option, this different route, you are going to lose money somehow. The situation indicated by the card is like you're actually going to lose a source of income. So this could come in the source, in the form of a person. Maybe if you take this third option, you are going to be to lose the approval of someone who actually pays your bills nowadays, someone who you are dependent on. This could be, of course, a family member, but it could also be a boss. Maybe this person is not going to welcome your attitude, or is going to question your reasons if you take this third option, this inspired course of action. But it could also be fear, generalized fear, because this inspired course of action is so out of the box that you start wondering if it's actually going to pay off. It could be that you have information that this third option is not as lucrative, or it's so new, so fresh, so out of everybody's comfort zone, so pioneeristic, I don't know if this word exists, that you actually cannot research on it in order to know if it's going to pan out, okay? I honest to God feel that this is talking about money, or at least material resources. So in the case of the wedding scenario, it's kind of like you are trying to organize this ceremony in which everybody else is going to feel welcome and invited, and everybody will have the opportunity to participate, because all of these people are responsible for your income somehow, or they are responsible for your material resources, or they have been invaluable helping you establish your future family, your relationship with your partner. So there is a real fear here of losing in material terms. This is what I'm trying to say. So there's an explanation here. Why is it that you're in the limbo? And even if you are the King of Wands, even if you are the person that's very organized and able to make feasible plans and to follow through and to understand what's necessary to solve many difficult situations, you are not the kind of person, I'm saying that but I feel like I'm listening to your thoughts on the matter. You're not the kind of person who are supposed to be in the limbo. And on a note on that, everybody gets to a limbo from time to time, so don't be too hard on yourself. But it's kind of like, this is what you're thinking. I'm so practical. I'm so able to bridge gaps between emotions and irrational thoughts. Why am I not able to do that now? Because you're afraid of losing something that's very concrete, that's very material, possibly money. And it's normal when we're facing the possibility of losing a very material level of stability, that we question the need to be so out there. It's very, very normal, right? And then when they talk about what helps and what hinders in this situation, they bring for what helps this card here, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. The 10 of Pentacles is the representation of everything a person may want in material terms, but also it's like the culmination of everything you may want in material terms, plus the feeling of security, of being safe, of being taken care of, and having enough to take care of yourself and of everyone you love. So it's the actual material representation of bridging the gap between emotions and material resources. Okay, see the layers in this spread. And it's in reverse, so it's in the position of what helps. So what tarot is saying here is, you're only going to overcome this limbo feeling and to cross the threshold here if you let go of your idealization of what of what material stability looks like, feels like, and how you can get there, basically. Because if we're talking here about an idea that is too out there, and you're afraid that people are going to question it, and they're going to retrieve their support, and they are going to judge you, etc., then this card is suggesting that this may not be true, or that there may be other people there that are going to support your idea, with the plus of you having true allies that respect you for who you are and the ideas you truly have, instead of you trying to fit in just to, because look, we are talking about total material and emotional fulfillment based on actual safety, plus this now and then offer of support. Okay, so whatever you're afraid of losing here, with this Knight of Pentacles in reverse, is nothing compared to what you can actually gain if you take this route, this third route that seems to be out there. Okay, but then what helps is when you can face the fact that material security can come in many ways, shapes and forms. It can be in a profession that's normally not understood as this lucrative or this safe. It can help can come from many different kinds of people, and the price that you're paying by trying to fit in, maybe is to them costly, because the card that talks about what hinders is a tendency you have of like following through with the expectation that someone is going to recognize your effort and reward you. Okay, this is showing up here in this position of what hinders. So I'm reading this as a negative tendency. And I understand this negative tendency completely. It's just like, instead of going for what you really want, instead of making the decision based on what you truly want, you're still trying to be the good boy, the good girl, the good person that is going to do everything right and make all the right decisions so that one day someone is going to recognize, because that is allegedly all that it takes for you to guarantee this level of security here. But don't forget that this level of security makes you a hostage and always dependent on the people that are, allegedly your saviors, because they recognize your value. And this level of security here is something that you build alone, following your intuition and your inspired ideas. So, in order to truly make this decision and understand that abundance and safety can come in many different ways, you will need to let go of this attitude of good girl, good boy, good person. And this may be a little bit difficult for you. Remember that we were talking about in the beginning making the right choice and trying to bridge the gap between emotions and, trying to reach some level of balance that can be really positive, but sometimes becomes too much of a burden when we don't know exactly why we're trying to balance and what we're trying to balance. It seems like sometimes we are trying to balance things, aspects of our personality, or even issues that are not our own, just to try and please other people, that making ourselves hostages of other people that are supposed to guarantee our safety, when in fact we are the ones responsible for our own internal safety. Okay, this is what they're talking about here. Now let's see if we have some more hints on this situation. We have to represent what this situation here, what this situation is, we have the hangman. What the situation is not, we have the Fool in reverse, which is very interesting here. And this is a piece of advice, is Judgment. And as a final card, as a conclusion for the game, we have the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay, in reverse. So the situation is being described as the hangman. So it's being described as the need to change perspectives on something. This is a reiteration of the fact that you need to change perspectives on what security is, on what being safe is, and on what this third option, the risk of this third option really is. Especially because the card representing what the situation is not is the Fool in reverse. So they're saying the situation is not irresponsibility, lack of responsibility. Sometimes you may feel like taking this third route or following this inspired idea is equivalent to being irresponsible. And then they're saying, no, following your inspirations, your true inspiration, is not being irresponsible. Just because you're facing the risk, quote unquote, risk of attracting judgment from people that are responsible for your salary or for some of the material gains you have. It doesn't make you irresponsible, okay? It doesn't work like that, because part of the responsibility of judging you and of facing whatever you're trying to do that way is on the persons. Okay, these people, they have to face the consequence also of judging you as harshly as they do when you change your mind on the course of your actions. So it's not irresponsible for you to follow an inspired idea. Of course, it may seem that way if you're talking about a boss, for example, and then you know that this boss is going to feel outraged by your side hustle on, I don't know, tarot. Let's get the example of what I'm doing here. But even then, there's no boss in the world that can tell you how you're going to work with a side hustle. So, or which side hustle you're allowed to have. So, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but what Tarot's saying is you need to understand that it's not irresponsible to do that. You need to, of course, think about the social risk of that, but you not up to the point of really believing what this person may actually feel or say about your side hustle, not to the point of letting it discourage you from taking some kind of action towards your inspired idea. Okay. And of course, the tarot scenario is just an example. Okay. Anything that you want to do, any inspired idea you want to take is valid. And there's no one in the world. It doesn't matter if this person is your, it's a family figure, is any kind of authoritative figure that's actually responsible for part of your living in a direct or indirect way. Following an inspired idea because you want to, because you feel like you have to, because you feel like you're being called to, is not irresponsible. And you can come up with ways of following it without immediately, throwing everything that you're currently doing away, and still getting whatever it is that you're getting, a salary, the help that you need, etc. You can do this little by little. You can do this gradually, but that's different than completely giving up on what you actually want to do because you're simply, too scared of losing whatever safety you think you already got. And then with the advice card, we have judgment. And judgment talks about our mission in life. So they're saying, well, Tarot's saying, when I say they, I'm talking about my guides, your guides, the spirits that are helping me and helping us, because this is collaborative. It's me and you do this reading, right? So they're saying that this dealing with this decision and the route that you're going to choose and how you're going to get out of this limbo is a very important part of your life's mission, okay? There's something about your life's mission that requires you to take the route of this inspired idea. So it's very important for you to get the strength and the courage to follow whatever seems to be less obvious, and the strength and the courage to maybe risk losing a little bit of face when it comes to your security and to your material gain, okay? Because the card that concludes the game is the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay, so this card's talking about so many different things, but in general, it's talking about understanding that it's okay. I'm going to say what's coming to my mind. This is a card that talks a lot about memories, okay, that resurface a little bit of nostalgia, but also give and take, equal give and take, especially when it comes to emotions. And then it suggests that a lot of you, or maybe a part of you, I would say a lot, have been dealing with probably from an early childhood emotional abusers, people with whom give and take was never equal. Okay, so it's kind of like you were used to giving, even giving up on what you want in order to get a minimum sense of security in relationships, okay? Because considering the example of a boss and a job, and you want to start, making tarot videos in YouTube, and your boss not going to approve, and maybe you're going to lose your job. This is actually illegal, I think in most countries, okay? People cannot fire you because of that, but you know how things work in real life, and you know that it may have an impact, etc. And it's kind of like this card saying you had past experiences that kind of taught you that this is normal, this is like human nature, this is how things go, this is how the world goes, and you better take care of yourself and consider that, because the risk is true enough. I understand and I validate your lessons, the lessons you've learned, but what they're actually saying is that now it's time for these lessons not to rule your life anymore. It's not the time anymore for you to see the world as a place for emotional abuse alone. Maybe your boss is not going to react this way. Maybe your boss is going to react this way in the boss scenario. But the thing is, your life cannot go on forever based on this level of manipulation in which you cannot be the person you truly want to be because you think it's too risky and you're going to lose your material safety unless you play the game the way other people think you should play the game. It's kind of like that, okay? There needs to be an equal give and take, and this is part of your life mission, because whatever inspired idea or third route or third option that comes your way, even if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about yet, this is going to be a huge part of who you are, okay? It doesn't even matter if you're going to make money out of that or not, but this is a huge part of who you are and what you're here on this earth to do. So you can negotiate. You don't have to be. This card is also suggesting that you don't have to just cut cords with anyone. You don't have to burn bridges. You can make everything very progressively and gradually construct whatever you mean to construct to get out of this limbo. But just don't give up because it's out of what other people expect, because it's out of your comfort zone, okay? Because your comfort zone in this spread seems very much related to emotional abuse, in the sense of what other people expect of me, and this is what I'm used to. I'm used to avoiding confrontation and trying to keep up with other people's expectations, okay? So this is what I have for you, and I hope it helped. But before we finish this, I'm going to get some oracle cards to see if I can help you through this. I already have one. Open communication. Let's see if we have more. I'm going to show you these cards. Just a moment. I have two more here. I wanted to come. Okay. We have open communication and we have abundance, infinite abundance. What was I telling you? Okay, so let's start with open communication. Mercury. I don't know if you're watching this the moment I will upload it, which is October, end of October 2021. Sorry, 2022. 2022. 2022 is actually a year of Mercury, a year in which the way we communicate is very important, because Mercury was the messenger of the gods, and he needed to communicate exactly what the gods told him, not even a comma more, exactly word by word what the gods told him. It was a huge responsibility, and this year is all about communicating clearly and acting clearly according to what you want. So it's about coining projects and stating your view of things very clearly without offending anyone, without really, there's no need to be conflictive with anyone, but stating clearly what you want and when you want it and how you want it and acting accordingly. So the message in the card goes, get a weight off your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. I feel like for most of you, the fear you have of being judged and of losing part of your stability could be misguided, in the sense that for most of you, if you talk to the people that cause your fear, they would be very receptive to whatever you want to do, getting out of this limbo, this third option we've been talking about. But even if this is not the case, Mercury is talking about the need to just position yourself and walk your talk and not giving up on that. Because 2022, if you're watching 2022, this is a timeless reading. But if you're watching 2022, it becomes especially relevant. This is the year of Mercury. It's the year of being, faithful to who you are in your actions and your words. And then we have Lord Ganesha to kind of confirm this message of people are not going to be as judgmental or, as you think they're going to be. If you choose a different course of action, Lord Ganesha says infinite abundance, obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing, okay? So maybe you're not going to find the support for your idea with the group of people that you find judgmental right now and that have you fearing losing abundance. But maybe you're going to find a different group of people. The thing is, obstacles are being removed. So abundance is coming, but it's coming because you decide to face your mission. You decide to face your inspired ideas. And then we have Diana with focused intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome. You see, I was shuffling these cards as we went, right? So there's no way to fake that. It's exactly what I was talking about. You just need to go for the idea, the inspired idea, is already there. Or even if you don't know exactly what it is, you are a King of Wands. You can organize your life. But the thing is, right now, you're in a limbo because you just don't want to make anything. You want to make something inspired. You don't want to just, make another decision to get out of the limbo and just, improvise or check whatever list people are putting in front of you. You want to make something that matters. You want to make something that's aligned with your truth. So go and do it. Communicating clearly, walking your talk, abundance will come, obstacles will be removed. Stay focused on your intention. And this is the kind of courage you need right now to get out of this limbo. Maybe this reading is only a confirmation for you. Just don't believe that this limbo is there for nothing. This limbo is there for you to understand that it's not about just, avoiding conflict and about finding balance in things that maybe are not even your issue or your situation. It's about finding what's true for you, what's inspired for you, and then taking action on it. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed the reading. One thing more that I took a self-care card for pile number 1, so I don't want to leave you without your self-care cards too, something that may help you face this challenge. Oh, I have one here. Music. Maybe music is going to help you through this process. Maybe music is a confirmation for you. Maybe your inspired idea involved music. The number here is 37, and 37 reduces to 10. So things are already changing as you watch this reading. Feel free to claim this meaning if you want, and if it makes you feel good, okay? But it can also mean, of course, the more traditional self-help way, that music is going to inspire you, finding and refining your inspiring idea. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please share your comments down below on if this message resonated with you, if it didn't, and do not forget to leave a like, to subscribe to the channel, to receive more videos like that if you enjoyed the reading. And also I have down below buy me a coffee. It's a kind of a virtual tip jar. If you really like the reading and if you want to leave a donation there, you are not obligated to do so, but I would appreciate it very much. Thank you. And now I'm moving forward to the reading for pile number 3. Bye-bye. Hello, if you've chosen pile number 3 and this beautiful, beautiful stone here, which is gorgeous. And I normally use to work with relationship issues, the deepening and strengthening of relationships. Then this is your reading on what you need to know right now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stone. I don't know if you've skipped the intro, but this is my first reading in almost, after a year and a half more, almost 2 years. And I've decided that I'm going to use a spread here that includes a card for you, a card for past, present, and future that brought you to this instance of yourself right now, and a card for what helps, what hinders, what you know, what you don't know, what is the situation, what's not this, what the situation is not, a piece of advice, and a conclusion. Okay, so we'll go through this little by little. This is going to be a very complete reading, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's start with the card that talks about you. This is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Kind of confused to how I'm going to show you the cards later on. Just putting this in the positions. Then we have the Four of Wands in reverse. Yeah, like this. For your past. Then we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse for your present, and Justice in reverse for your future. Lots of reversals. Kind of a stuck energy here, just like pile number 2, but this is a completely different situation. Okay. Okay. So the first card we have here for you, representing you, is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to show it to you upright so that we can start talking about it. What I see here is that you're feeling like you cannot collaborate with other people for one reason or another. You're feeling like this is a period in your life, a period of time in which it's hard for you to trust other people, but you have very good reasons not to trust other people, especially considering these other cards here. It's kind of like you've experienced, and I see this in the past here, you've experienced something that should be celebratory as a tragedy. And when I say a tragedy, maybe I'm exaggerating. Not really exaggerating, but maybe there are different levels in this experience for the different people watching this group. But it's kind of like now you feel like it's hard to collaborate with other people, to see the functions of everybody in a group. This could be your family, this could be work, this could be a combo. But it's kind of hard to collaborate with other people in a relationship. This could be a romantic relationship, but they're talking about bigger groups here, okay? And these 3 people, we have 3 people here, we have 4 people here, we have 4 here too. So bigger groups. This suggests family, teams at work. It suggests groups of friends. And it's kind of hard to collaborate with these people, to feel a part of this group. Not even to feel a part of this group. What I feel here is kind of a strange energy in a group, or more than one group for some of you, because the communication is not flowing so well, because you cannot see the function of each person in the group. You cannot see your function. You're trying to help, you're trying to collaborate, but it's really hard. You try to explain how you'd like things to go. You try to listen to other people's expectations, but it's really hard to just communicate. And if it feels like you listen to what people are saying, but you cannot. But as the days move forward, you understand that you didn't really grasp their meaning. It's very confusing, and it's making you question your ability not even to be in a group, to be in a family, whatever it is, to be in this group of friends, to be in your family, to be a part of your family, etc. But it's also making you question groups in general, human as social beings in general. This is a deep lesson on what's fair and what's not fair in a group with this justice card here. Okay. Well, it was supposed to be in reverse. This was supposed to be in reverse here too. Sorry. Kind of confused with the positioning of the cameras too, but they were all in reverse. Okay. So it's getting kind of confusing for you to understand. I don't know if you used to be a person that was very sociable, that didn't have this problem, and maybe if you didn't have this problem before, it's even more embarrassing right now to face the fact that you're not able to work in groups. I was also talking about in the first group about the impacts of the pandemics in our lives. A lot of people are facing this kind of situation in which, as we come back to real life scenarios and to mingling more and to working back in offices for some people, and leaving the internet settings, getting around, basically we feel kind of out of touch with our abilities of being there in the presence of people and acting and listening and understanding their cues, their non-verbal cues, etc., because everything was so text based and word based and things like that. Maybe I needed to mention that because this could be a factor, and it's not the first time that's showing up in these readings today. But what I see here is it's hard to be a part of a group. So this is a very, very specific message. And if it doesn't resonate with you, this is probably not your reading, or maybe it's not your group. You can find a different group, or maybe even a different reading online. There are thousands of readings out there. This the explanation we have here in the past, present, future is it's hard for you to be a part of a group because in the past something that was supposed to be a celebration, that was supposed to be a party, that was supposed to be a coming together of a lot of people, was experienced as a tragedy, as I said before, or as something very negative in different levels of tragedy. The example that comes to my mind is a birthday that was not celebrated, or that had a sour effect, a sour aftertaste. People were so, I don't know, so anxious, so conflictive due to their own problems. What I see here is a situation in which people are so caught up in their own things, and they're having such a hard time living their daily lives that whenever they get together, it's very hard to support each other. Because normally in relationships, in groups, there's a day in which, I don't know, person A is not feeling that well, so person B helps, and person C is kind of more or less, and it's there participating the way they can. And then the next day, person C is really low, and then person A is better, and it's helping person C, and then we have a healthy, exchange of of cycles, and everybody's helping everybody, and everybody recognizes the need for other human beings so that we can uplift each other, etc. But what I'm seeing in these scenarios is that in this group, in these groups that you're facing these difficulties with, everybody is dealing with so much of their own stuff that they are unable right now to support each other. So what was supposed to be a celebration in the past became kind of a negative interaction, in a sense, left a sour aftertaste. I keep hearing that. It's a Christmas gone wrong, it's a birthday gone wrong, or it's an accomplishment of one or more members of this group that went unnoticed. It's or even it's more than going unnoticed. It's this inability of celebrating each other's joys because there's so much on everyone's plates right now. And then because of that, right now I see that it's hard for you with this Four of Pentacles here in reverse, because the Four of Pentacles upright is like overly protecting. Well, this is one of the possible interpretations. Overly protecting your material resources. And with it being in reverse, it's kind of an impossibility of not overly spending your energy, overly spending your resources, overly giving. But it's not because there's someone else in the group that is manipulating, that only knows how to receive, that it's trying to take too much of you. It's just because this imbalance, this inner imbalance of everyone in the group, be it family, work, whatever, has created a kind of a cesspool of energy. It's draining everybody's energy. And because it's the Four of Pentacles, everybody's resources, okay? Material resources. Maybe it doesn't apply to all of you. Maybe in some cases it's only energy. But what I see here is like, let's talk about a family, for instance. Everybody is so out of balance in this situation. And I don't know up to which point it includes you, but I think it does because of this card here. It also includes you. It's not like you're having a higher perspective and then everybody else is imbalanced. I think everybody is imbalanced, including you. And it came to a point in which everybody is investing so much of their energy and resources and to make it work in this group, but it's impossible, and then it creates more embarrassment, and it creates more anxiety, and it creates more frustration, and then you put more resources, be these resources material or energy or whatever. Everybody's so involved that it becomes an unsolvable drama. Okay, and in the future, if it goes on like that, the lesson to be learned here is that there is no justice if justice does not include you. Now, I want to talk about that really. I want to take my time talking about that, because whenever I see the Justice card, this is an interpretation that occurs to me almost immediately. There is no justice if justice does not include you. Justice is justice for everybody. Not only for, the others, not only for everyone else, not only for the world, the humanity, however you may name it, okay? It needs to include you. Being in reverse, it's like saying, okay, this situation is so imbalanced because it's like everybody has their issues. Nobody wants to look at their issues because it's painful, to work in your own shadow, to look at yourself and to deal with the ugly, quote unquote, or the heavy, quote unquote, things and hurts that are making us so unbalanced. So they prefer to try to help the others, but this help is not really helping, because what would serve for this situation better is that if everybody could just take a deep breath and go look at their own stuff. This is the only fair game here. It's not trying to help the other person in need, because really in this situation everybody is in need. So people would need to take a better look at themselves, and working on themselves, including you working on yourself, is the only way of making the situation better. There's no justice unless it includes you. Okay, so this is a very, very specific message, and if it doesn't resonate, maybe this reading is not for you, but I have more information here, starting with what you know, what you don't know, what helps, and what hinders. And now the cards are starting to show upright. So what you know, Five of Pentacles, you already know part of what I'm explaining. So maybe you recognized yourself there in this my previous speech. You know that everybody in this situation, including yourself, feels left out in the cold, as this card suggests, okay? Feels like in this group, we have reached a point in which nobody is nurtured, nobody feels good, nobody feels welcomed, nobody feels a part of whatever is being produced. If it's work, it's like it's become this toxic environment. And I really don't want to, I didn't use the word toxic before because I really see that everybody is struggling, but we can see this as a toxic environment due to the struggles that everybody's facing there, not due to the manipulation of a specific person that is trying to, take more than their share of whatever in the work, okay? If it's family, it's like it doesn't feel like home anymore, wherever you go, whatever you do. So everybody's feeling left out in the cold. And what you don't know is that everybody, sorry, we're back. What you don't know, sorry, is that everybody's feeling defensive. Everybody's feeling defensive because the stuff that people around you in this group are dealing with is so heavy that they prefer to take care of other people's in the business of other people in the group, okay? So this is related, okay? Everybody's feeling left out in the cold because they feel defensive about their own issues. They don't want to look at their own issues. This is kind of the problem, okay? And what helps in this situation is information. It's like they're saying, the Tower in reverse is you can avoid rupture. There's going to be rupture in this situation. There's going to be a moment in which maybe a couple of people, maybe even you, are going to collapse in the sense of, I can't take this any longer. We have to talk about it. If it's a house, maybe leave the house. If it's a job, maybe leave the job. Impose limits. This is necessary. But since you have the information coming to this reading, and you can start then you can start understanding the dynamics, and you can make this rupture softer and more conscious than it would be if the group simply exploded, okay? So it doesn't matter if you are the person who is going to bring an end to this difficult situation by talking, by communicating, by establishing a limit, etc., or if it's someone else. The important thing here is that when the moment comes, since you have the information, because you're coming here, you try to mediate as well as you can the results. For example, let's say that this is a family and everybody has become really vicious about one another's behaviors, okay? You know that one day someone is going to explode, and and now coming to this reading and reflecting, and maybe you already knew that this person won't be able to, well, no one can blame this person because the environment was toxic to begin with. So when this person explodes, maybe it's a younger member of the group or a less experienced member of the group, if it's a job, okay? You can be the one to say, people, let's be reasonable here. Let's understand that everybody collaborated for that. Or maybe if you don't feel like there's room for this kind of conversation because everybody's so, defensive, like they say here, maybe you're the person who's going to, after everything explodes, you're the person who's going to get this younger person or a less experienced person and say, no, you did what you have to do. What you had to do, someone had to talk about it, someone had to bring the elephant in the room up. And if you are the person bringing the elephant in the room up, then you can make it in a way, having the information that you have, that's going to be the most beneficial to all, in the sense of justice begins, well, true justice only exists if it's just, if it's fair to everyone involved. Okay, so this is the kind of this is what helps. This is the kind of reasoning that helps when it comes to this point. What hinders, what does not help, is thinking about this in very materialistic terms. So if the situation involves money, if it involves sex, if it involves prestige, if it involves some kind of recognition related to fame, even if it's circumscribed to the situation, who's going to be more or less recognized, who's going to have a promotion, who's going to be, you know, the adored son or daughter or whatever, it doesn't help thinking about the situation in material terms, because everybody in this group is suffering. That's why people are unable to collaborate. But there is a real lesson to be learned there, and that's why you're there. When it comes to tower moments, this tower moments is necessary. This is going to teach you a lot, but you can face it with great wisdom. This is something that the spread is saying. You have the necessary ability to help this group not to dissolve, or at least to dissolve peacefully, if it comes to that, by sharing the information you have, which is justice is only possible when it is fair, when whichever decisions made are fair to everyone involved, when everybody has the right to express, and also the information you have on the fact that everybody's suffering and everybody's imbalanced, including yourself. So maybe the breakup or the breakthrough that the tower moments bring is the only way to, you know, bring this situation to a better version of itself. I also have cards here for what this situation is, what this situation is not, a piece of advice, and a conclusion. And this is so beautiful. I think I'm going to cry. This is very beautiful, because here I have some hints on what's actually going on, and it can apply to the multiple contexts I was talking about. I don't see these cards in advance, so I'm really discovering the facts, not well, as we move along here. And the card representing what this situation is the Ace of Cups. Sorry, the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, especially in this representation here, I hope you can see it properly, it talks about the need to express creatively. So it really makes me emotional. It suggests that everybody in this context, in this group, is really repressing their creativity. If these people could express creatively, and I'm really talking about art, but I'm not only talking about approved art or the arts that we normally consider in terms of niche, painting, writing, could be something like that. But I'm talking about the expression of art in the job they make, the expression of art in the way they express, the way they talk, the way they do their everyday chores, the way they dress, you know? Sipping on some water. This card suggests that if these people could express, instead of repressing, what they truly are and their emotions, they wouldn't be as imbalanced and disconnected from the group. Okay, so it's beautiful, because the tower moment, this tower is going to allow for them and for you to further express your creativity. This is what this situation is about. It's about human beings learning that they can express themselves with each other, and they can express themselves creatively as a group. This situation is not about the King of Cups, which is, you know, we have a page and a queen, a king here. So it's like tarot is saying this situation is about the beginning of self-expression. It's not about masters of self-expression. This situation is about people who are starting to learn how to express their emotions creatively, not to blow up completely. And if they could only express these emotions creatively in the way they do things in the world, they would be so much happier. But instead, they are repressing this expression. And I feel with this card here that you, at least, and maybe some of the people in the group, feel like they express their emotions very well. They don't feel like they have this problem repressing emotions. They feel like they are perfectly capable of expressing their emotions. And maybe some of them are even artists and they don't feel like they have these problems. But what these cards are suggesting is that there's still a lot of censorship in the expression of these emotions, and it bottles up, and this repression becomes a huge imbalance that is then affecting the dynamics in the group. So the piece of advice I have for you here is go to your cave with the hermit, reflect on everything that you're listening here. Try to understand up to which point you're truly expressing your feelings, up to which point you're truly expressing your creativity, so that you can understand how you're collaborating to the imbalance in this group situation. And the card we have as a summary, as a conclusion to this game, is the mage. This is really what was making me, tearful here a little bit and emotional, because it's like after the tower, after everybody is able to express how they feel, maybe due to this trigger of a person that could be you saying some truths, everybody's going to start creating again, creating their own things, be it because they start talking about what really pleases them, be it because they start being more authentic in the way they present themselves in the world, feeling like they don't have to hide, they don't have to be so defensive in this group. And then the energy in the group is going to start flowing back again much easily, okay? But in order for that to happen, there needs to be a rupture. This rupture it doesn't have to be as abrupt as it would be if everybody in this situation was unconscious or unaware of what's happening. But now there's at least one person who knows what's happening, and that person is you. So go into your cave, meditate about everything that you've learned here, meditate about your worth and importance in this group, about how you might be repressing your own emotions and your own artistic expression, and then go back in order to help the group break through or break up if it's the case, so that people can start being creative again. It's actually a very beautiful process, also very difficult. But let me get some oracle cards here to see what can help you in this endeavor of getting the energies flowing in this group and in your life. I have a card. Wow. Forgiveness. Master Jesus. Oh, and I have two more. Mercury again. This was here for pile 2-2. And Green Tara. Okay, let's talk about forgiveness. There's something to be forgiven there, which is, this is reminding me of the difference between the Page of Cups and the King of Cups. It feels like you, at least, and other people in the group feel like they are already superior manifestors of creativity. And as the reading says here, it doesn't feel like that's true. There's more to express. There are still things being repressed, and you need to look at that because it's taking a toll on the group. So Master Jesus here says, you are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Further healing is possible at this time. If this group we're talking about is your family, maybe your father plays an important part in this scenario. But anyway, this card is asking you to forgive yourself and the other members of the group, and understand that your creative expression is very important in this world, and there's no need to repress, and there's no need to hide anything, and that you can forget yourself, you can forgive yourself for not being able to express up to, I don't know, the point of your wildest dreams right now, because this is an ongoing learning process. Mercury was here for group 2, and Mercury, I was telling group 2 that if you're watching this video in 2022 when it's being released, 2022 is the year of Mercury. It's the year in which we need to learn how to communicate straightforwardly, and we need to walk our talk, because this is what Mercury is all about. This is the challenge of 2022. This is a timeless reading, but if you're watching from any other place and time, if you're a future traveler, past traveler, this is a timeless reading. Mercury is here to bring you the message that you need to clearly communicate what you feel about things, and to clearly convey the message of your wildest dreams exactly the way it is. The card says, open communication, get a weight of your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. So in this case, it's even a suggestion that you are the person within the group that's going to stand up and say, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. We also have green Tara in such a beautiful image. Green Tara talks about supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitations. Trust. So here we're talking about protection. If you decide to be the person who is going to talk about the elephant in the room, but also protection to express everything that you feel is connected to your most authentic self. Okay? So to finish up, I want to get to see which self-care cards may help you in this endeavor, and in your role of balancing this group's act. Okay, very, very explicit. We have deep breathing, okay, which makes total sense, because it's one of the best. I have lots of cleaning cards for you. So deep breathing is number 19. It's deep breathing is also a way of cleaning your energy before you tell your truth, before you try to monitor or to mediate any of these situations, difficult communicative situations. Okay, and with 19 we have the Sun card, so it's the best representation of yourself. Then we have energy work, 22. 22 brings the innocence of the Fool, right? But here we have energy work with the chakras, so maybe you want to invest in some chakra healing. And when I say invest, it doesn't need to cost a lot of money. There are a lot of videos online which are excellent to help you do that, to align your chakras. Okay, and 10, clear your energy field. So you see, all of the cards are talking about change and innocence with the numbers and the best version of yourself, but all of them are talking about energy cleaning, energy cleansing, so that you have the courage and the strength to promote this change, more than promote, to face this tower moment in the best way possible, to talk about your truth, and to take this role of someone who's going to address the elephant in the room and readjust the patterns of interaction in this group. Okay, so I hope this reading has helped. If you liked it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. But please do comment if you feel it's aligned to whatever you're living right now, or not. I would love to hear about your specific situations if you feel so inclined. Also, I would like to say that in my description, I will have a link to buy me a coffee, which is a virtual tip jar. So if you can and you want to leave a tip, it's very helpful for me to continue my work here. Thank you for being in this first video of the return of Timeless Flux. It was a pleasure, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.